Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome back to PW NEET English. Hello. Hi Ananya, good evening. Good evening Ayush. Quickly let me know in the chat box if I am clearly audible and visible. Be quick. Let's start today's session. In this session, we'll try to complete 100 MCQ questions. These are going to be a mix of your entire syllabus, right? A very good evening to all of you. Welcome back. Hi. Come on, quickly join. And let me know in the chat box if I am audible. All right. Yes. Very best wishes for Eid. Eid Mubarak to every one of you. Yes, let's start. Let's start, my dear friends. Today we are going to complete top 100 MCQ questions, right? Let's start with the first question, which is somewhat like this. This is our first problem. This is from JEE Mains 2025 and it is from thermodynamics. Alright, let's read this problem. Question says a gas kept in a container having walls which are thermally insulated, which are thermally non-conducting. Initially gas has a volume of 800 centimeter per cube and temperature of 27 degrees Celsius. We are going to convert it into Kelvin. It will become 300 Kelvin. The change in temperature when the gas is adiabatically compressed to 200 centimeter per cube. We have to find out that temperature, my dear friends. Right? Clear? Question is all sorted. They have also given you that gamma for this gas is 1.5. Gamma for this gas is 1.5, and now we have to quickly start this problem, my dear friends. Be a little quick, attempt this question, then I am going to explain, and in the meantime let me also know if everything is clear. Be quick, my dear friends. Come on, we have to find out the final temperature. Right? In these types of problem, first of all, understand that they are saying that this process is adiabatic. That means it is compressed adiabatically. Now we know the equation of adiabatic process. It is PV raised to the power gamma is equals to constant. This is the equation, my dear friends. PV raised to the power gamma. This is the equation that we have to look for, right? If you are going to use this equation, dosto, you can also say that, sir, instead of PV, we can always write PV equals to nRT, right? We can always write PV is equals to nRT. If instead of pressure, because we don't want pressure, we can write down nRT divided by V. Or you can also simply remember it. So instead of pressure, we can write down temperature. And we can write down volume raised to the power gamma minus 1 is equals to constant. So hopefully you all remember this equation. If you have any doubt, quickly write down this equation. This is known as we have also seen many polytropic processes, right? So this is for adiabatic. PV raised to the power gamma is given. Instead of P, I can write down nRT divided by V. That means V raised to the power gamma minus 1, and I have got temperature. N and R will be, of course, constant. So this is also constant. This basically means, my dear friends, now I can say that T1 V1 raised to the power gamma minus 1 is equals to T2 V2 raised to the power gamma minus 1, right? I need to find out T2. So I'll write T2 equals to T1 and V1 divided by V2 whole raised to the power gamma minus 1. Now T1 is, I believe, 27 degrees Celsius. I can simply write it as 300 Kelvin, 273 plus 27. So this will become 300. Volume V1 initial volume was 800. finally the volume, we have compressed it to 200 raised to the power gamma. Gamma is 3 by 2 or 1.5 minus 1, right? This will become 4. This will become 300 times 4 raised to the power 1 by 2. That means our final temperature will become 300 times 2, that is 600 Kelvin. Hopefully first question is absolutely clear to all of you. Clear, right? Everything's fine? Quickly let me know in the chat box. Come on. Done? Be quick, doston. Be a little quick. Be a little quick, my dear friends. Come on. Is everything fine? Done? Can I move on to the next one? Can I move on to the next one, my dear friends? A similar type of a problem, dosto. But now in this question, they are not saying that it is an adiabatic compression or expansion, right? They are saying that they have given a random equation, PV raised to the power 3 by 2. PV raised to the power 3 by 2. Please understand that this basically means that we are talking about PV raised to the power some value A, and that is equals to constant. Now again they are saying you have to calculate the work done. If you are going to listen to me, I will simply say that please remember the formula for work done for a polytropic process also. It will save a lot of time, right? If you don't want to do that, then see, there are two ways to solve this equation. There are two ways, my dear friends, to solve this equation. First way is we know that work done can be actually written as integral of P dot dV. Let me explain you the normal method, right? P into dV. This can be written as P dot dV, and from V1 to V2. Hopefully this is all clear to you, right? Now instead of this equation, instead of pressure, I can rewrite this thing as pressure can be written as K divided by V raised to the power minus 3 by 2. I can rewrite, instead of pressure, I can rewrite it as K divided by volume raised to the power 3 by 2. I am so sorry, this is plus 3 by 2. If I want to write it in minus, I can write it with K in numerator, right? So instead of pressure, my dear friends, let me write it as K V raised to the power minus 3 by 2 dot dV, and from V1 to V2, from V1 to V2, from V1 to V2. Hopefully this makes complete sense to you, right? Now let's simply integrate it. So we are going to get K, we are going to apply power rule. So V raised to the power minus 3 by 2 plus 1 divided by minus 3 by 2 plus 1, and then we are going to have V1 and we are going to have V2. We are going to have V1 and we are going to have V2. And finally we are getting K. My dear friends, hopefully you can see that minus 3 by 2, this will become minus 1 by 2. Yes, everyone can see this, minus 3 by 2 plus 1. It will become basically minus 1.5 plus 1. So it will become minus 1 by 2. So minus 1 by 2, I can rewrite this thing as minus 2K, right? And then instead of, and then we are going to have V raised to the power minus 1 by 2 over here as well, right? So V raised to the power minus 1 by 2. So I'm going to get V2 raised to the power minus 1 by 2 minus V1 raised to the power minus 1 by 2. Hopefully this also makes complete sense. Now after this step, my dear friends, most of students actually face slight trouble over here. Instead of K, you can again use that equation. Okay, again you can use that equation. Kindly see over here. Instead of K, I can rewrite this thing as P1 V1 raised to the power 3 by 2. Also I can, instead of K, also I can write down P2 V2 raised to the power 3 by 2. Right? Now why I am saying something like this? Because in the option I can see easily that I have got also pressure in my answer, P1, right? So from there you can get to know that, okay, fine, we'll have to rewrite the value of K in terms of pressure and volume. So now let's multiply it, my dear friends. So you are going to get you are going to get, and now if you will allow me, this minus and this minus sign will become plus, so I will get 2k, and I've got v1 raised to the power minus 1 by 2, that means root v1, and then I'll write minus 2k under root v2. Now instead of k, I can write down, instead of k, my dear friends, because I have got v1, so let me use this equation. So 2 p1 and then v1 raised to the power 3 by 2, and instead of this is v1 raised to the power 1 by 2, and then I have got again minus 2. Now for this k I am going to use this equation. Why? Because I have got v2 over here, right? I have got v2 over here. Although it makes no difference, even if I want to rewrite this equation, it will make no difference, but it is a way of writing answers, right? So instead of k, my dear friends, now I am going to write p2 times v2 raised to the power 3 by 2, and again please note that instead of we have got also one more v2 over here, that is v2 raised to the power 1 by 2, right? So this will become, I can take out 2 common if you will say, this will become 3 by 2 plus 1 by 2, that is 4 by 2, right? And that is basically hopefully this makes complete sense. Let me just see. Yes, absolutely. Everything is, that is minus. I'm so sorry. This was actually minus, my dear friends, right? There is a one mistake. This was minus. So let me write down minus 1 by 2 over here. Please check. We have got a minus sign over here, right? So over there also we are going to write minus. So this will be also minus and this will also be minus. So I'm going to get 3 by 3 minus 1, that is 2. So I'm going to simply get 2 p1 v1 minus 2 p2 v2. Or let's take 2 common, and p1 v1 minus p2 v2. This is what you are going to get. So 2 p1 v1 minus p2 v2. Now let me know in the chat box if you have any doubt, else I will move on, my dear friends. Clear? Hopefully everything is sorted. Be quick. Be quick, my dear friends. Any more doubt? Any more doubt? Is everything clear? Right? Be quick. Another method, you want to know another method? I can also say another method. Prem, by the way, hi buddy, long time no see. If you remember, my dear friend, there was a formula for work done which said P2 V2 minus P1 V1 divided by 1 minus, and then we have got, like for example, as we used to write gamma, if you remember, for adiabatic processes, right? So in this case we have got, instead of gamma we have got 3 by 2. So this will actually become P2 V2 minus P1 V1 whole raised to the power, this will become minus 1 by 2. So that means minus 1, and I can write down 2 over here. This minus sign will change the sign of numerator, will get 2 p1 v1 minus p2 v2. But so this is, obviously you are going to say, sir, why are you not explaining this method, right? That's what I have done. I have missed one doubt, so that's what I have also done, right? You can directly use this formula also, but my objective is also to explain you the entire concept. So I have explained that if any time you want to use this basic formula, fundamental formula, you can always use it. Hopefully there is no doubt with this question, right? Can I move on? Can I give you a slightly different problem now? Let's quickly see a next question. I think there is a bit of mistake in the option, so I'm going to also first of all I'm going to explain this to you. This is basically, instead of 1 by 4, I think we'll get 4. But now I'll give you time for this question. Let's read it. The question says, and see, today's class is not only about thermodynamics. We are going to cover all chapters. Sir, first please ask questions from modern physics. This is not possible. Okay, I cannot do this. I mean, just because you want to do modern physics, we cannot change the entire PPT. But definitely, let me tell you, eco, your whatever your name is, we are going to definitely solve modern physics also in today's class. Semiconductor, modern physics, wave optics, all the chapters, right? All the chapters. So do not worry. Do not worry. This is the this is next question. The pressure P1 and density D1. We are talking about density D1 of a diatomic gas. Gamma is 7/5. Please be prepared if they are not going to tell you gamma. Be prepared, right? Whenever you are solving questions in practice, this is your responsibility that whatever information is given in the question, if it is a general equation, general information, like for example is gamma for this question, remember it, try to remember it. Obviously you all remember the value of gamma for each and everything, but I'm just using this as an example. In any other question, if they are giving you some value, like for example is refractive index of water is 4/3, sometimes they might not give it, right? Let's come back. So now they are talking about density. They are talking about density. They are saying that we need to find out, it is changes suddenly, the pressure changes suddenly to P2, which is greater than P1, by the way, right? You are going to get the PDF, my dear friend, do not worry. And D2, we are talking about density during an adiabatic process. So they have also said that this is an adiabatic process. So whenever it is an adiabatic process, my dear friends, I think now you can quickly write it down that if it is an adiabatic process, that means PV raised to the power gamma, PV raised to the power gamma will be constant. And then they are saying the temperature of the gas increases and becomes dash times of its initial temperature. Given that D2 upon D1 is 32, right? So although this question is not at all difficult, let me explain this to you. If you want to give it a try, please be a little quick, then I will move on. Alright, I also want you guys to solve these questions with me, then I am going to explain everything, right? By the way, this is the adiabatic equation. One hint, my dear friends, of course, density, which they have said it as is D1. Density can be written as mass of the gas, which will be constant, divided by volume. So if mass is constant, this will mean that density is inversely proportional to volume. Of course, definitely, isn't it? Definitely. And we can also see that pressure is increasing, so volume will decrease. So if volume will decrease, density will increase, and that's why D2 upon D1 is 32. This is also, they have given this information, right? What I am trying to say is that instead of volume, you can write down density, which basically means that I can rewrite this equation as pressure raised to the power, pressure into density raised to the power minus gamma will be constant. Can you please write down in the chat box if this equation is absolutely clear to all of you? If this equation is absolutely clear, although they are not talking about pressure in this question. So again, you will have to rewrite the equation so that we can have density and we can have temperature. We can have density and we can have temperature. Is it clear? No problem, Eco, if you have not revised the heat unit, no problem, just wait for some time. We are going to solve all questions. My dear friend. Do not worry. First of all, quickly let me know in the chat box if this is all clear to you. Is everything sorted, right? Hopefully everything is sorted. Now, again, the next thing is, my dear friend, that we all know that PV equals to nRT is always possible. And even if you have not revised this chapter, I am explaining in such a way that everyone will understand it. This is always valid for an ideal gas. Always valid, my dear friends. Do not get confused, sir, they are saying PV raised to the power gamma. That is an equation of the process, right? This is an equation of ideal gas. So this is always valid. My dear friends. So from this equation, I think we all can write, instead of pressure, I can write it down as nRT divided by volume, right? And my dear friends, that means instead of pressure, I can write down temperature divided by volume, and 1 upon volume can be written as density. Please kindly see, I am not skipping any step so that you will understand each and everything. Again, 1 upon volume can be written as density. So this will become T d raised to the power 1 because of this and minus gamma, and that is equals to constant. This is my final equation. That's it, my dear friends. Now after this, all you need to do is you need to simply write, okay fine sir, that means T1 d1 raised to the power 1 minus gamma is equals to T2 d2 raised to the power 1 minus gamma, raised to the power 1 minus gamma. And we need to find out T2, don't forget, we need to find out actually T2 upon T1, right? Because how many times it has increased. So that means we need to find out T2 upon T1. So we are going to bring this T1 over here and we'll get D1 upon D2, we'll get D1 upon D2 1 minus gamma. And by the way, D2 upon D1 is 32, so this will become 1 upon 32. And gamma, they have also given us gamma, that is 7 by 5. So this will become 1 minus 7 by 5. So obviously I'll have a negative sign over here. So I'll get 1 by 32 whole raised to the power, and this will become minus 2 by 5. Minus 2 by 5. Hopefully you don't mind, I am keep on writing in one equation only, right? And this will become 32 raised to the power 2 by 5. And we all know 32 raised to the power 1 by 5 is nothing but 2, isn't it? So that means we'll get 2 raised to the power 2. So that means 4. So T2 upon T1 is 4. So that's what I was saying, that they are saying that the temperature of the gas increases and becomes dash times. So it becomes 4 times. It becomes 4 times. Yes, that's what I was saying. 1 by 4 can't be the correct answer. Correct answer is going to be 4. Right? I have said it in the first part only. Is everything clear? Sorted? Quickly let me know in the chat box. Be quick. Now I am going to move on to different chapters also. Again, we'll come back to thermodynamics and almost every other chapter. Okay? Clear? Come on. Let me know. Please don't click on any link which is given. Obviously, you guys are conscious about all of these things, right? Ignore such spams. Okay. Chalo, let's start. Let's start, my dear friends. Let's continue to solve some more problems, right? Yes, next chapter, another chapter, right? Eco. What is your name, buddy, so that I can address you directly? Chalo, let's solve this question. Let's solve this question. When a spring is elongated by 2 centimeter, its stored potential energy is E. If the spring is elongated by additional 2 centimeter, very basic type of a problem. Sir, Hindi mein. See, I can easily speak in Hindi, but this is a PW NEET English channel, right? So that is why I am speaking in English. Clear? When a spring is elongated by 2 centimeter, my dear friends, when a spring is elongated by 2 centimeter, the stored potential energy is E. You need to pay attention into these things, right? Hi Siddharth, we are very nice name, buddy, very nice name. My elder brother's name is also Siddharth. If the spring is elongated by additional 2 centimeter, what will be the increase in its potential energy? Great. So we all know, kindly see, we all know that potential energy, which is written as E, actually can be written as 1 upon 2 kx square. 1 upon 2 kx square. Now they are saying if we are actually elongating it by 2 centimeter. So square of 2 centimeter, this would mean 4. Let's just keep it like this. Now we need to find out new energy such that we have stretched it by additional 2 centimeter. Kindly note additional 2 centimeter, right? So initial elongation will still be there, right? Initial elongation will still be there. So we are going to write half k. Now your new elongation becomes 2 plus 2, that is 4. So square of 4. Now we can easily rewrite it as half k times 4 and multiplied by 4. So now see how easy it is. This was actually E. So this simply becomes 4 times of E. Please do not assume that, sir, why are you explaining these questions? These are very simple. We know that energy is directly dependent on X. If you are going to increase it by 2 centimeter more, we can simply write it as 4 times of initial. My point is I should explain it in such a way that everyone can understand, right? Everyone should understand the solution. All right. My name is Subrat. My name is Subrat. Okay. Chalo. Now let's move on to the next question. Hopefully this is all clear. Although this is again from thermodynamics. So if you guys are feeling a little bored, I'm not going to explain it entirely. I can give it to you as a homework. The question, this is the equation, my dear friends. This is the equation, right? So I can rewrite this equation as, this is a polytropic equation. I can rewrite this equation as PV raised to the power minus 1 by 2 is equals to K. Now you can solve it. Is it clear? Now you can easily solve it. Is that fine? Because over here we have got root V on the other side. So I have to write it with pressure. So if I'm going to rewrite this thing with pressure, it will become PV raised to the power minus 1 by 2. And now please solve it as a homework, right? So all along this lecture, I'm going to give you some very good questions in homework, right? So please solve them after my class. And you are going to get the PDF of this. Yes. Siddharth. If your name is Siddharth, buddy, gamma is not minus 1 by 2. Now over here we are going to call it as a polytropic constant. Gamma is gamma here. Gamma is Cp by Cv. है ना? Gamma is Cp by Cv. So if we have got diatomic gas, gamma is different. We have got triatomic gas, gamma is different. This is not gamma. This is a polytropic constant. We don't have only 4 processes. There can be infinitely many processes. So for those infinitely many processes, we can have infinitely many equations. And this constant is known as polytropic constant. Clear? Let's move on. That is why I have said that generally the formula is integral of P dot dV for work done. Consider a system consisting of a central solid sphere. Let me help you with the diagram. We have got a central solid sphere, my dear friends, something like this, right? And it has got mass m and radius r. It is surrounded by a concentric. It is surrounded by a concentric spherical shell of mass 2m, right? So kindly note this this question. It's a nice problem but easy. Whenever I say nice, I don't mean to say it is difficult, right? It's an interesting question. See, this has mass 2m and radius of this sphere is 3r. Radius of this sphere is 3r. And then radius of the smaller sphere is r, I believe, and mass is m. So mass is m and this radius is r. And then they are saying that determine the net gravitational force. Determine the net gravitational force experienced by a particle of mass m located at a radial distance of 2r. Located at a radial distance of 2r from the common center. That means from the common center, my dear friends, we need to go to a distance of 2r, which will be somewhere over here. So this is the distance of 2r and we are keeping a mass small m over here and we have to find out the net force. Clear? Is question all sorted, my dear friends? Be quick. Is question all sorted? Now see, we have done elastic potential energy, now gravitation, then thermodynamics. We have a mix of all questions, right? What is going to be the force? Very, very good. Very good, Sankar. Very good, Siddharth. Very good. See, my dear friends, okay, hold on. Now, some tips time. Whenever you are going to get a question from gravitation, you can solve it with the concepts of electrostatics also if you have any problem. In electrostatics, if you remember, if you have got a shell over here, kindly see what I am trying to say. Everybody please listen. This is a shell. So we know the gravitational field inside the shell will be 0. Just like electric field intensity inside the shell is 0. All right, Sanjana, very good. Just like, okay, hi Shrushti, hi. Just like electric field intensity inside a spherical conducting shell is 0, similarly, if I have got a spherical shell which has got mass m, there will be no mass inside it, so there will be no gravitational field intensity, so there will be no force experienced by small m due to this spherical shell. So easy. and I can assume the entire mass of this solid sphere to be at this point. Please listen to me very carefully. Only when the point where we are trying to find out the gravitational field intensity is outside from the surface, right? So this point is outside for this solid sphere, so I can assume the entire mass is at capital M. That means the force on small m becomes G m1 m2 divided by square of distance, and this is so simple, right? And exactly like electrostatics, isn't it? Write down in the chat box, this is exactly like electrostatics. So very easy. Now we can move on. If you have any doubt, do let me know in the chat box, I will answer it. Hi Tarun, hello, hi, good evening. Hi Daban, good evening. Hi Varshita, good evening. Hi, hello. You have spammed me, right? Hello. Chalo. Now let's move on to the next problem. Fluid. Next question is from fluid, right? Next question says a vessel is filled with 3 immiscible liquids. Immiscible basically means that these are not going to get mixed. Of densities rho, 2 rho and 3 rho. Okay, so there is a typo over here. Let me write it for you. And 3 rho. From the top to bottom. So obviously we can see that rho, 2 rho, 3 rho. Now they are saying that each liquid forms a layer of height h. We can see that ignoring the atmospheric pressure. This is very important. Ignoring the atmospheric pressure. So you don't have to worry about atmospheric pressure now. They are saying what is the ratio of fluid pressure at the interface between the top and the middle liquids, that is point A, to the pressure at the interface between the middle and the bottom, that is point B. This is also easy, not at all difficult, right? But language is slightly confusing, slightly, not very but slightly confusing, right? If you are going to allow me, my dear friends, the pressure at point P can be written as pressure at point A, not P. Pressure at point A can be written as atmospheric pressure plus rho G into H, and instead of density I have written rho. But they are saying that kindly ignore the atmospheric pressure. So let me ignore it. So this becomes rho GH. And pressure at B will become now at B, please remember that this liquid will also apply the pressure and this liquid will also apply the pressure. So there will be pressure due to surface, due to this liquid, right, and plus 2 rho G into H, that is 3 rho G into H. So the ratio will become PA by PB will become 1 by 3. That's what they were saying. 1 by 3. Done? Yes, very good. Good. Alright, so if you think all of these questions are easy, let me give you another problem, which is slightly moderate, right? You have to imagine this question. You have to imagine the diagram, okay? And if you want, I can also give you this question in poll. Sir, why one question from different chapters? Why not 10 questions from one chapter? But then you will get, then you are good. Let me tell you, this is a very interesting point. What we are trying to do is, hold on, Siddharth, let me explain why we are doing this. See, all along this week, I have completed kinematics. So in that particular class, I have only solved the question from kinematics. Then Newton laws of motion and work per energy. Then we have done rotational motion and center of mass. Now it is a time to solve mixed questions. Shock your mind, shock your brain. If your brain knows that after this also thermodynamics will come, you will not be able to shock your brain, which is what happens in your final NEET exam. So after revision of particular chapters, please solve mixed questions so that you can get ready for your final NEET exam. Clear? So let's start. 90 seconds or 90 seconds will be sufficient. Let's start. Come on, be quick. Shall I start? Poll is running. Poll is running. You can give your answers in the chat box. My dear friends, question is saying we have got a current carrying loop. So this is a loop. It has got total 200 turns, radius of 3 centimeter, and then orientation in the, it lies in the XY plane. Lies in the XY plane basically means, of course, this is Y, this is X, and this is your plane. Now they are saying and centered at origin. So this is origin, of course. If a current of 2 ampere flows, find 2 ampere force, what is the magnetic field strength at this point? Now this point is on the Z axis. This is on the, of course it is on the Z axis. That means we will have to use the formula of magnetic field due to a current carrying circular coil at a point on the axis, and by that formula is something like this. Please remember, mu naught upon 4 pi, simply write mu naught upon 4 pi, then write total number of turns, then write 2 pi r square, then write current whole divided by r square, that is square of radius, plus x square whole raised to the power 3 by 2. Now if I am going to solve this equation for you, although I believe after writing the formula you must be able to solve it, mu naught upon 4 pi can be written as 10 to the power minus 7 multiplied by number of turns are 200. So 200 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 pi. So they are giving answer in pi, so I don't have to worry about this. And r square, my dear friends, radius. So radius will, square of radius will become 9, and I have to also convert it into meter. So 10 to the power minus 4. So and this will become meter square, right? So 9 into 10 to the power minus 4 and multiplied by 3. That is, current is 3 ampere, I believe. Current is, I am so sorry, current is 2 ampere. Current is 2 ampere divided by again square of r. And if you again see, please see, this is 3, right? This is square of 3. Let it be in centimeter. This is 4. Square of 3 and square of 4, and if you are going to take root, it will become 5. So that means this is square. This is 5 cube, and then you will have also centimeter cube. That means 10 to the power minus 6. Is everything clear? Right? Everything's sorted. Quickly write down in the chat box if you have understood what I have done over here. Right? This is 3 square, 4 square, triplet, 3, 4, 5. So this is 5 square. So this root get cancels out, and I have got a cube over here. So this is 5 cube, and this is, by the way, this is centimeter raised to the power cube. Finally, it is centimeter raised to the power cube. That is 5 cube and centimeter cube. So 1 centimeter is 10 to the power minus 2. So this becomes 10 to the power minus 6. If you are going to solve it, I have solved it personally. I think your correct answer was either A or B. Let me check. Answer, you will get your answer, no doubt about it, my dear friends, do not worry. The answer is 1. The answer is 1. Absolutely. No doubt about it, you will get it. You will get the answer. Answer is 1. A. Very good. Good. Great. Good to all of you. Any more doubt? Can I move on to the next question? Right. This was a moderate level problem. The calculation made it moderate. Other than the calculation, concept, if they are going to only, if you are going to ask me, sir, what about concept? If only the concept is concerned, question was easy. Now let's move on to another question, right? And my dear friends, another question is, let's suppose this. A crate is placed on the horizontal bed of a truck. So you have got a horizontal bed of a truck. So let's say this is the horizontal bed of a truck, right? And just to make this look like a truck, let's say these are the wheels. That's it, right? And then we have got a crate over here. Then they are saying determine the maximum acceleration of this. Determine the maximum acceleration of the truck that can have without the crate sliding. Without the crate sliding. Without the crate sliding. Come on. This is what we need to find out. Be quick. This is what we need to find out. We need to find out the maximum acceleration of the truck that can have without the crate sliding. In all of these types of problem, please remember, if this truck bed is going to move, there will be a friction force that will act, that will try to move this crate also with this bed, so that relative motion can be so that we can resist the relative motion, not we, the friction force can resist the relative motion, right? And the value of this friction force will be, my dear friends, please see, value of this friction force will be mu times of n. This is going to be the value of friction force. So the maximum acceleration of the crate can be, maximum acceleration of the crate can be simply mu times g. So mu was 0.4 and g is 10, so that means this can move with 4 meter per second square of acceleration. This crate can maximum it can move with 4 meter per second square. Now if they are saying that it must not slip, if they are saying that it must not slide, that means that if truck has a maximum acceleration of 4, then friction will be sufficient enough. Kindly understand the concept. Then friction will be sufficient enough to move this, to hold this crate with respect to the truck. And if it is going to move with more acceleration, then kinetic friction will start to act and it will start to slide, right? So answer is easy. Option 4 is absolutely the correct one. Quickly write down in the chat box if everything's clear, right? Do not get worried that they have not given us mass. Mass is not required. All right. Quickly write down in the chat box. Be quick. Some of you have said D. So D is not correct. Answer is going to be 4 meter per second square. Answer is going to be 4 meter per second square. Is it clear? Quickly write down in the chat box. Any more doubts? Can I move on to the next one? Be quick. Next problem. This is also a nice question. My dear friends, this is also a nice question. From mechanical properties. From mechanical properties of solid. A uniform steel cable 10 meter long with a cross-sectional area of 1 centimeter square is suspended from a ceiling. Determine the elongation due to the cable's own weight. Use density of steel as rho 8000 kg per meter cube. Young's modulus is also given and G is also given. Do it by yourself. Do it by yourself. Don't take any help. This is for your own good, my dear friends. You can see the level of these questions is absolutely comparable to what NTA can ask, right? You can judge this. So let's do it honestly without any distraction. Let's all complete these questions. Option A. Okay, let me check. I'll check for you, my dear friend, if option A is correct or not. Well, I don't have the answer for this. I don't have, we will have to solve this. The elongation is basically mg L divided by 2ay. This is the formula that we'll use. If you'll ask me, I can derive it for you. If you will ask me, I can derive it for you, but first of all, let's check the answer. We don't have mass right now, right? So to find out the mass, we'll have to multiply density with volume. So density is 8000, volume is area multiplied by, area is 1 centimeter square, that means 1 into 10 to the power minus 4, and length is 10 meter, right? Length is 10 meters. So these 4 zeros will get cancelled out and I'll get 8 kg. I'll get 8 kg. So this will become 80 Newton multiplied by 10 meter whole divided by 2. Area is 1 centimeter square, so 10 to the power minus 4, and Young's modulus is 2 into 10 to the power 11. 2 into 10 to the power 11. My dear friends, this will become 4 and this will become 20. Hopefully you guys can see, right? This thing will become 7 and I'll get 200 times 10 to the power minus 7, or I can rewrite this thing as 2 into 10 to the power minus 5 meter. If I want to write it in millimeter, so I'll get 0.02 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter, or 0.02 millimeter. 0.02 millimeter. So option A is certainly the correct answer. Very, very good. Now let me tell you one thing. Many times students commit one mistake in this question. Let me explain that to you. This is the formula. This is a different formula. Kindly note down and remember this formula. This is elongation. This is elongation due to self weight of the rod. Elongation due to self weight of the rod, right? Why? Because sometimes you might get confused with the normal derivation. For example, as if let's suppose we have got two types of cases, we have got two cases over here. In first case, we have got a block which is kept like this of 8 kg, and let's say the original length is L, and we know that this is mg, and Young's modulus of this is y, area of cross section is A. So if you are going to say to me, sir, y is actually equals to force upon area times change in length, this is what you want us to find out, times L. So delta x will be, instead of F you are going to write mgl divided by A into y. Are you getting it? Are you getting it what I am trying to say? So this is the case when string is massless. When string is massless. When string is massless. Right? This is the case when string is massless. In this case, we have got a rod, and rod has its own mass. Rod has its own mass. So in this particular case, we cannot say that 80 Newton is acting at this point. We cannot say that. So what we'll have to do, we'll have to integrate it. I am explaining it again. That's what I'm trying to say. This is a nice problem, right? What I'm trying to say is, if you have any doubt, please ask me your pointed doubt. I'll definitely explain, right? All right, I'll definitely explain. See, what I'm trying to say is that we have got two types of cases in these types of problems. Over here, we don't have mass in this string, but this string can extend. There can be an extension, right? So the entire force is acting at this point. The entire force is acting at this point. But over here, we cannot say something like that. So what we are going to do is, we are going to use integration to derive the formula. So this is formula is mgl divided by 2ay, and over here, over here we have got formula is mgl divided by 2ay. Now let me give you one homework for your practice, and then I'll move on to the next question. In this part, my dear friend, what we are going to do is, we are going to go to a distance of x. See, I'm explaining you the entire derivation without wasting your time, so that you can really understand. this is, let's suppose that we are going at a distance of x and we are selecting a length of dx. Let's say this is dx, right? So this length will be, total length is L, so this will become L minus x. What is going to be the mass of this length? So mass of this part of the length will be, the entire mass is m, entire length is L, so this is linear mass density multiplied by this length. So this will become the new length. I'm sorry, this will become the new mass. It means that over here mg is not acting, but what is acting? We are having a force of m by L times L minus x multiplied by g. And then let's find out the extension in this infinitely small element. Are you getting it what I'm trying to say? Right? So when you are going to do it, you are going to do it like this. Let's suppose you are writing it as dx dash. This is extension in this dx. This is extension in this dx. And then you will try to integrate it. Is everything clear, my dear friend? And when you are going to integrate it, you will land up to this answer. You will land up to this answer. From where to where you will have to integrate? From x equals to 0 to x equals to L. If you are from any of my batch, be it Power Batch or Yaqeen NEET English, you can refer to your notes. I have derived it for you, right? I have derived it for you. Now let's move on to the next question. Right? Let's move on to the next question. Let me give you another problem. Let's solve this question. One question from electrostatics. Come on, let's start. Be quick. 2 point charges plus 2 microcoulomb and minus 8 microcoulomb are placed 15 centimeter apart on the line connecting the two charges. Identify the locations where the net electric potential is 0. Question is very simple, but you need to understand that you can have 2 points. Unlike the case of electric field, you can have 2 points. Can you please quickly write down in the chat box if everything was clear from the last topic, last question? Jitendra, Mithali, come on, answer me first. Everything's clear? Can we move on to the next problem? So you have to find out the point where net potential will become 0. You have to find out the point where the net potential will become 0. Definitely one of the point will be in between of these two, and point will be nearer to the smaller charge. So let's suppose this is point P, this is x, so this will become 15 minus x. So potential at point P will become k q divided by x is equals to k q divided by 15 minus x. K can be cancelled out, this will become 4, that means 15 minus x is equals to 4x, that means x will be equals to 3 centimeter. X will be equals to 3 centimeter. Clear? X will be equals to 3 centimeter, right? Next question, next part is, this same point can be somewhere over here also, nearer to the smaller charge. You can't say, sir, why not over there? Because there is no possibility, because this is larger in magnitude. This is larger in magnitude, which means that the next point will be somewhere over here. Let's call it as P dash. Let's call this distance as x. So that means this distance will become 15 plus x. And then again solve it. You are going to get your answer as minus 5. Why? Because this point is at origin. This point is at origin. Hopefully this makes complete sense, right? Any more doubt, my dear friends? Can we move on to the next question? Quickly, let me know. We have to be a little quick so that we can solve maximum questions with maximum possible explanation, right? Maximum possible explanation. Come on, let's be a little quick. So this question is very easy. This question is very easy, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time in this. They are saying that if A0 is the Bohr radius for the ground state of a hydrogen atom, right, of a hydrogen atom, determine the radius of the orbit for an electron in the second excited state of beryllium. Can you please help me with the atomic number of beryllium? Well, I know that second excited state basically means that they are talking about n equals to 3. And when they are talking about beryllium, can I write it as 4? Hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, right? Clear? So this is going to become 4. and then you can write down, Rn equals to A naught n square by Z. Be quick. My dear friends, be a little quick. Let me know the correct answer. Is it clear? So n is going to be 9, n is 3, so this will become 9A naught divided by 4. 9A naught divided by 4. This was very easy. Let's solve this question. This is a nice problem. Let me make some stars over here. Come on, let's start this question. Let's solve it together. Question is saying a particle of mass small m travels along the positive x-axis. This is towards the origin with a speed of 8 meter per second. Another particle of mass 2m travels along the positive y-axis towards the origin with a speed of 2 meter per second. They are set to collide. At the origin. The center of mass of this two particle system will travel along which straight line? Come on, let's do this problem, my dear friends. Starting the poll, 60 seconds. Let's start. Come on, be quick. Come on. Well, if you are good in class 12 physics, that's very, very good. So you have got sufficient amount of time to improve your class 11th also, right? Everybody is getting option B. Very good, yeah. Very good. If you guys are able to solve this question, then fine. Your preparation is in right track. Do not become a rabbit. Keep on studying, right? Do not get any more lenient, but very good. If you can solve this question, very good. Why I am saying this, please understand. See, let's understand it conceptually, right? They are set to collide at this point. Clear? They are set to collide at this point. Fine. I know that collision is basically, my dear friends, collision is basically, and it is because of internal forces. There are no external forces involved. Right? So that means center of mass will keep on moving in the same direction. So let's find out the velocity of center of mass. So this will be m into 8 I cap meter per second plus 2m into 2 meter per second j cap whole divided by m plus 2m, that is 3m. Obviously I can cancel out m and I'll get 8 by 3 I cap plus 4 by 3 j cap. Now this basically means that at this point the center of mass at origin, center of mass has velocity 8 by 3 I cap and 4 by 3 j cap. Please see, this is 8 by 3 meter per second along x axis and we have got 4 by 3 meter per second along y axis. Clear? This means that the resultant will be obviously bended towards 8 by 3, something like this. Let's say this is the direction in which center of mass is moving. This is the velocity of center of mass. When we are going to find out the resultant of these two, we are going to get. Let's find out the slope of this vector. Clear? Let's find out the slope of this vector, theta. So when you are going to find out tan theta, you are going to say, sir, tan theta will be obviously perpendicular, that is 4 by 3 divided by base, and base is 8 by 3. This gets cancels out, this gets cancels out, we'll have 1 by 2. That means we have to look for an equation of straight line which has got slope of 1 by 2, which has got slope of 1 by 2, which is this, option B. And most of you were saying option B, right, or option A. Can you please write down what you guys were constantly saying, whether it was option B or option A. I forgot. You guys were constantly saying option B or option A. Quickly let me know in the chat box. And please see, this is a nice problem. This is a nice problem, my dear friends. After this, I am going to move on to the next question. Correct answer is option B. Very good. Very, very, very good. Great. All right. Let's solve this question. This is an assertion reasoning question. 60 seconds will be more than sufficient. 60 seconds will be more than sufficient. Let's start. Assertion says a ladder leaning against a smooth vertical wall cannot remain in equilibrium if the force is also smooth. Sir, notes का PDF कहाँ मिलेगा? Notes का PDF, you will get the PDF of these notes on PW NEET English WhatsApp channel. And where are you going to find that channel? In the link will be in the description box. After this live stream is over, you will get it. All right. Come on. I think assertion is absolutely correct. I think assertion is absolutely correct. And reason says for equilibrium, the net horizontal force on the ladder must be zero. The normal force from the vertical force is horizontal and only a frictional force from the floor can counteract it. This is absolutely clear. Very, very nice explanation. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation for assertion. C option is absolutely correct. C option is absolutely correct. Well, some of you have said A is false. Some of you have said A is false. In that case, let me explain this problem to you. My dear friends, what's going to happen is let's draw some usual forces, usual suspects. mg will act downward. Kindly see here. mg will act downward. Yes, sir. Normal reaction will act in this direction due to floor. Normal reaction will act in this direction due to wall. Right? Now the thing is, obviously you can say, sir, we have got no problem. This is normal reaction. This is normal reaction from the floor. And this will get balanced by mg. Right? And this is normal reaction from the wall. From where are you going to balance this normal reaction from the wall? It has to be balanced with a frictional force which will act in this direction. Which will act in this direction. This is friction force provided by the floor. And kindly remember that whenever somebody is saying to you that a system or anything is in equilibrium, this basically means that they are saying that summation of forces along all the axes x, y, z should be 0 and net torque about all points should be 0. And if you remember in NEET 2025 also they have asked a similar question. They have asked a numerical questions based on this concept, right? So please note it down. Is everything clear? No more doubts? Can I move on to the next question? If you are going to write down yes in the chat box, I'll also feel good and that will reassure me that everything is going fine. Quickly write down in the chat box. Then I'm moving on. My dear friends. I think it's not necessary that I'll completely explain all the questions, like for example as this one. My dear friends, they are saying you have to find out the ratio of root mean square speed. Ratio of root mean square speed is VRMS, and we know that VRMS is nothing but 3 RT by molecular mass. So this means that VRMS is directly proportional to root of T by M. That's it. Now square of helium capital M is 4, and for sulfur dioxide I think it is 64, 32 plus 32, it is 64. So I think you can do it now. Clear? Is it sorted? Quickly write down in the chat box. Be quick. Yes. Can we move on to the next problem? Chalo. Let's solve this question. Let's solve this problem, and I'm going to give you poll in this one. Be quick, be quick, be quick. Consider the branch of a circuit shown from point P to point Q. The current is at a particular moment and is decreasing at a rate of 10 to the power 4 ampere per second, decreasing at the rate of 10 to the power 4 ampere per second. Come on, be quick. Be quick, my dear friends. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Are you saying C for this? Are you saying C for this? Okay, let's check. Let's see. By the way, current is decreasing, huh? If current is decreasing, then you can imagine that we have got a battery over here which is supporting the current, and it has got EMF L di by dt. L is I believe 2 millihenry, and di by dt is 10 to the power 4. So this means that this is nothing but this is 20 volt. And we need to move in this direction. So how we are going to write down? We are going to write down potential of point P. My dear friends, whenever you move in direction of current and you pass through a resistance, there is always a potential drop. There is always a potential drop. So that means 5 times 2 is 10. I'll write it with a negative sign because there is a potential drop. Now you're moving from negative potential to positive potential. That means potential gain plus 20 volt. Then again you are moving from negative to positive plus 20 volt. Then again you are moving from a resistance. That means 5 times 4 is again 20 and is equals to VQ. My dear friends, I think I can cancel out this 20, and Vp minus Vq is coming out to be minus 10, but they are not asking this, they are asking VQ minus Vp. So anyway, your answer was wrong. It is not C, it is actually D. It is D. Sir, one number is wrong. What one number? What one number? Can you please, Shubham Gautam, sir, which one number, buddy? Which one number? Hi Henry, hi. One number is wrong. I mean, the first question is wrong or one number is wrong? What do you mean? 5 2s are 10. Everything is correct here. Huh? Sir, मुझे 120 प्लस मार्क्स चाहिए. क्या क्या पढ़ना पड़ेगा अभी? प्लीज गाइड मी सर. मेरे से क्वेश्चन सॉल्व नहीं हो रहे हैं. ओके ठीक है, आई गाइड यू. रुक जाओ, जस्ट वेट अ सेकेंड. भाई आई डोंट थिंक एनीथिंग इज रॉन्ग. ठीक है, काइंडली चेक. चलो क्विकली लेट मी नो इन द चैट बॉक्स. दिस इज एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. डी इज एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. What has happened? I forgot to take VQ minus VP. Still, if you have forgot to take VQ minus VP and you have taken VP minus VQ, you should get minus 10 as answer, na? How come you are saying, sir, one number is wrong? अरे भाई शुभम, तुम एक नंबर बताओ. Be quick. Be really quick. Come on, everything's clear? Even if you have mistakenly taken it as VP minus VQ, your answer should have come minus 10. Right? Your answer should come minus 10. Clear? Come on. Which one is wrong? Bhai, I don't think any answer is wrong till here. I don't think so. And if you are saying number 1, what was number 1? Everything is correct here. Number 1 to definitely it is correct. Pura I have derived it. There is no doubt. There is no doubt. Please don't waste your teacher's time here. Come on, let's do this question. Come on, be quick. Clear? Let's start. In a YDAC, light with a wavelength of 500 Newton meter is used. Wavelength of 500 Newton meter is used. The intensity of a light at a point on the screen is found to be 25% of the maximum possible intensity. What is the minimum non-zero? What is the minimum non-zero path difference between the waves? What is the minimum non-zero path difference? All right, UV, thank you buddy. Thank you for appreciating this. Chalo, let me explain this to you. See, in a YDAC experiment, right? Let me explain you the entire concept. In a YDAC experiment, we know that we have got two coherent sources. That means that net intensity can be written as, the general formula is 4I naught cos square, phase difference is phi, so we are going to write it as phi by 2. Now they are saying, my dear friends, kindly note, now they are saying that instead of net intensity, we are getting 25% of maximum intensity. So maximum intensity is this. So 25% of maximum intensity is going to be simply I naught. So I naught equals to 4 I naught cos square phi by 2. I naught and I naught can be cancelled out. Cos square phi by 2 will become 1 by 4. After this I can rewrite cos phi by 2 as 1 by 2. If cos phi by 2 is 1 by 2, this means that phi by 2 will be phi by 2, my dear friends. Cos gives 1 by 2 at 60 degree. So this will become 120 degree, my dear friend. This is actually pi by 3, and this means that phase difference will become 2 pi by 3, 120 degree. And now use the relation between path difference and phase difference. Path difference is, remember it like this. If you have got delta x, you will have lambda over here divided by 2 pi multiplied by phase difference. This is the formula. So you are going to get lambda upon 2 pi. And by the way, let me now write down lambda, because they have given me the value of lambda, which is 500 nanometer. 500 nanometer multiplied by delta phi is 2 pi by 3, is 2 pi by 3 divided by 2 pi. So 2 pi and 2 pi will get cancelled out. 500 divided by 3 here. 500 divided by 3 is what? 500 divided by 3 will be 166.6666666666 and so on. So 167. Option B is absolutely correct. Got it? Everything is clear? Everything is clear? Huh? Let me know. Let me know, my dear friends, then I am going to move on to the next question. सर 1 में चेंज पूछा है, आपने सिर्फ आंसर निकाला है, ये बोली ना आपने बात बेटा. यही तो मैं कह रहा था कि ऐसे, this is how you should say. This is how you should say. Are you talking about this? Just a second.
Which language?
Are you talking about this question, my dear friend? Are you talking about this question? First में change पूछा है, अपन ने सिर्फ आंसर निकाला है. Are you talking about this or which question? Here, kindly write down the question. Or you are talking about this. The change in temperature when the, oh, yes. The change in temperature is 300 Kelvin. 300 Kelvin. Thank you so much. I take my words back. I apologize to you. I take my words back. I apologize to you, Shubham Gautam. Very, very good, my dear friend. Very, very, very good. I am so sorry. I have not paid sufficient attention to your chat. Right? Thank you so much. Everyone should thank you, Shubham Gautam. They have asked us the change, and by mistake I have found out the final temperature only. So change is going to be in final minus initial, and that is going to be 300 Kelvin. Thank you so much, Shubham. Apologies. Mistake accepted. Mistake accepted. All right, no problem. Let's move on. Let's move on, my dear friends. Let's move on. I think we have solved some pretty good number of questions still here. Let's quickly move on to the next one. Okay. All right. Thank you. Now let's solve this question. Okay, Shubham, let's solve this question, my dear friend. This is from Shubham. You are from Nepal. Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you. and apologies. Chalo, let's start. A plano-convex lens, a plano-convex lens made up of a material with the refractive index 1.75, ठीक है, 1.75, has a radius of curvature 15 centimeter from the curved surface. All right. If the plane surface of the lens is silvered, this is a nice problem. This is a nice problem. Please understand. What is the effective focal length of the resulting mirror system? I'm going to give you some time till, please solve this. Till then, I'm going to explain it also. See, what they are trying to say is, that you have got a convex lens, sorry, you have got a convex lens, something like this, right? Something like this. So this is the radius of curvature of this part is infinity. Radius of curvature of this is I believe 15 centimeter. And after this they are silvering it, है ना? After this they are silvering it. But first of all, let's find out the focal length of this lens. So 1 upon focal length of lens will become refractive index of lens divided by refractive index of surrounding medium, that is air, so I don't have to write it down, mu L minus 1 upon R1 minus 1 upon R2. So we are going to get, let me just simply write it over here. You are going to see, this is 1.75 minus 1, that is 0.75. You are going to get 0.75, and then you have got 1 upon R, that is 15, and minus 1 upon infinity, that is 0. So please solve this equation. Be quick. Quickly solve this. Find me the answer. Come on, find me the answer for this one, my dear friend. What is the focal length? What is the focal length? Answer should be, I think it should be 5. That's what I am getting. Answer should be 5. है ना? It is finally coming out as 5. It is finally coming out as 5, my dear friends. Right? It is finally coming out as 5. Please check. 5 centimeter. It is finally coming out as 5 centimeter. Right now we have not solved it entirely. I am simply telling you the focal length of lens, right? And now the equivalent, the most important thing is, if you are going to silver it, then the formula will become 1 upon F equivalent is equals to 1 upon focal length of mirror minus 2 divided by focal length of lens. You must remember this. This is very important, and this is what makes this question important. And I believe, my dear friends, anything else? This was 20, kya? Just a second, let's see. Acha, this is 20, sorry, this is 20. This is 20. Please do the calculation again. This is 20 centimeter. That means this is 1 upon 10. That means this is going to be 10 centimeter. Option B is absolutely correct, my dear friends. Option B is absolutely correct. Please see. Please see it one more time. Yes. Sorry. Ha, theek hai, done. Clear. Formula was absolutely fine. Formula was absolutely fine. Any more doubt? Let me check also. Is there any mistake? Clear? Clear? Please check this again here. Answer is absolutely correct, but let's check this again. This is going to become 0.75 and divided by 15. Please check this again. Answer is absolutely clear. Answer is absolutely correct. Yes, question is definitely of nice level. Definitely. A certain amount of ideal gas is enclosed in a cylinder. Okay, certain amount of ideal gas is enclosed in a cylinder. If 150 calorie of heat is provided to the system, all right, 150 calorie of heat is provided to the system and simultaneously 30 joule of work is performed. Okay, ठीक है, 30 joule of work is performed on the system. What is the resultant change in internal energy? The important thing is that you have to convert 1 calorie into joule. You have to convert 1 calorie into joule. So that means please use delta Q is equals to delta W plus delta U. So if you are supplying energy, if you are supplying heat, we are going to take it as positive. We are going to take it as positive. That means this will become 150 times 4.2 equals to, and work is performed on the system. If work is performed on the system basically means negative. On the system basically means negative. And this is minus 30. So what is the change in internal energy? What is this, my dear friends? 0, 15, and this is 6. This is 600, na? Is it so? Right? Delta UV will be greater than 600, that is 660. Come on, be quick, my dear friends. Be quick. 630 plus 600 plus 30, 660 joule is the correct answer for this one. Clear? This question is also clear? Alright. Clear, my dear friends? Not 630 here, 660 is the correct answer. Kindly note it down. This is 15 times 42 is going to be 630. That is what you might be doing wrong. Yes, 630. This is 630. This is minus 30. This will become 660. Please understand, work is performed on the system, negative. Heat is supplied to the system, positive. So this is positive, this is negative. When this will go over here, this will become positive, and 660 is the correct answer. Right? Clear? Done? Can I move on to the next question? This is also a very nice problem. Very, very, very nice problem. Nice question. Okay, let's solve this question also. A body of mass 3m is launched with an initial velocity v. With an initial velocity v at an angle of theta to the horizontal. At the peak of its trajectory, it explodes into two fragments of mass 2m and m. Alright, into mass 2m and m. 2m momentarily stops and falls vertically. Determine the speed of the lighter fragment capital M just before it strikes the ground. Clear? Is everything sorted? Alright. Be quick. Come on. हाँ तो that was, I think, plano concave was 20 ना. हाँ तो that's what I've said, 20. It was coming out to be, I think, 0.05 after getting cancelled out. If I'm not wrong, that was coming out to be 1 upon 0.05, something like this, right, buddy? So this will become 100 and that will become 20. Correct? Not 5, but it will become 20. That's what you are saying, na? This will become 0.05, right? And that is 1 upon FL. That is 1 upon FL. So FL will become 1 upon 0.05, that means 100 divided by 5, that is 20. So 20 over here. Clear? Right? Done? Be quick. Sorted? Come on, be quick. This question is clear. This question is clear. Now let's solve this question. This is also a nice problem, as you can read it. Shall I solve it for you? Let's see. Hopefully you all have now read it. In this problem, see what's going to happen is, at this particular point it actually explodes. At this point it explodes. Usually in the questions of explosion we use the concept of center of mass. Over here things are slightly different. Let me tell you how. My dear friends, just before the collision, please see, just before the collision the entire momentum will be written something like this. This velocity will be v cos theta. Why so? Because at this point the horizontal component of velocity is v cos theta. The horizontal component of velocity is v cos theta, so this will remain same. So this is before explosion. Please see, this is before explosion. This is before explosion. Now after explosion what happens is, let me use another pen, another color. After explosion the mass 2m momentarily stops and fall vertically. So 2m falls over here, right? And the another mass, that is m, it will move with some different velocity. Let's say that is v dash. Let's say that is v dash. Please hear me out very carefully. This question is very good and I am going to explain each and every doubt related with this question. No worries. So we are going to, first of all, we know that whenever we will have a explosion questions, we are going to use conservation of linear momentum. Conservation of linear momentum. So conservation of linear momentum says before collision the total mass was 3m. The total mass was 3m. Velocity was v cos theta, and after collision 2m momentarily comes to rest and the smaller mass will move with a velocity of, let's say, v naught or v dash. Let's say it moves with a velocity of v dash, right? And this becomes 0. M can be cancelled out with this. That means v dash is equals to 3v cos theta. Now kindly see. Please see. This particle will come like this. The smaller particle will come like this. My dear friends, the vertical velocity of this particle will remain same. I mean the magnitude will remain same. This was v sin theta. So this velocity should also be v sin theta. Let me know in the chat box and please think about it. A very, very nice problem. Think about it. Why? Because it is coming to the ground from the same height. I am explaining the reason also. As the particle comes to ground, from same height, comes to ground from same height. So initial velocity was v sin theta in vertical direction. It used this velocity and its final velocity became 0 at the highest point. Now whatever is the velocity in the x direction, when it is going to fall back to the ground, it will attain the same magnitude of velocity. This is going to be v sin theta, and the x component will not change, and now the new x component is, mind you, it is v dash. It is v dash. So that means the final velocity will be and they are actually talking about determine the speed. So final speed will be under root of v sine theta square, so v square sine square theta plus v dash square, and v dash square is this, so it will become 9 v square cos square theta. My dear friend, 1 v square sine square theta and v square cos square theta will become 1, right? That means v square. So we'll get under root of v square plus 8 v square cos square theta. V square can be taken out as common, and we'll be left with option A, v1 plus 8 cos square theta. Right answer. Even if you are going to, now I'll take your doubts. Siddharth is saying, sir, 2m can have velocity under root 2gh. So if you are going to do that, you will get to the same answer, buddy, because this is h, right? So the particle used v sine theta to get to h. So this under root 2gh will also be v sine theta, na? Is that correct? Please don't get worried about with this v dash. I am simply saying the basic concept of motion under gravity. I am saying if you are going to throw a particle with a velocity of v sine theta, and it will go at the top, and when it will come back at this point, speed will remain v sine theta. So at this point, when collision happens, x velocity changes, and when this particle falls, because it falls from the same height, it will attain the same magnitude of velocity in negative direction, v sine theta. Very nice problem. Is it clear? Right? Any more doubt? Chalo. Now let's move on to the next question. Next question is this. Be quick. Next question is this. A concave mirror with a focal length of 30 centimeter is oriented such that its principal axis aligns with the line y equals to 4 by 3x. 4 by 3x. A point object is situated at the origin 0, 0. So point object is at this point 0, 0. If the pole of the mirror is 90 centimeter, this is 90 centimeter away from the origin along the principal axis, determine the coordinates of the resulting image. Determine the coordinates of the resulting image. Let's find out the resulting image. Please note that object is at this point. Please note, my dear friends, and point object is at the origin. So this is where the point object is 0, 0. 0, 0. Come on, be quick. Solve, my dear friends. Solve and let me know if you have any doubt. First of all, this is a normal concave mirror. So I am going to simply say 1 upon focal length is equals to 1 upon v minus 1 upon u, which means that 1 upon v will be 1 upon 90 minus 1 upon 30 times 3 times 3. So this will become, v will become minus 45 centimeter. V will become minus 45 centimeter. That means somewhere over here, this is going to be V. This distance is 45 centimeter. This distance is 45 centimeter, right? And if you want to find out the coordinates, my dear friends, please note that this is going to be the y coordinate and this is going to be the x coordinate. And looking at this equation, we can see that tan theta is equals to slope, and that is equals to 4 by 3. This means that theta is equals to 53 degree. So this angle is 53 degree. This angle is 53 degree. This angle is 53 degree. And if this angle is 53 degree and let's say this is y and let's say this is x, then I can simply say that sine 53 degree which will be equals to 4 by 5, and that will be equals to y divided by hypotenuse, that is 45. This will become 9 and y will become 36 centimeter. So there is only 136 centimeter, that means option A is correct. Now you can also use cos 53. Cos 53 degree will be 3 by 5 and that will be equals to x divided by 45. So this will become 9 and x will be equals to 27 centimeter. So x is 27 centimeter. Come on, let me know in the chat box if you have any doubt. Be quick. Clear? Done and dusted. Any more doubt? Be quick. Come on. This is also a nice problem, my dear friends. Done and dusted. Can we move on? Let's solve this question now. Last problem was really nice. The fundamental frequency of air column in a cylindrical pipe open at both ends is measured to be f naught. Okay, so this means that if you have got a pipe, an open pipe like this, the fundamental frequency, we are going to draw the diagram something like this. We will have an antinode over here, we'll have an antinode over here, we'll have a node over here, and this length will be actually equals to, this is lambda by 4, this is lambda by 4, this will be lambda by 2, right? So V can be written as f naught into lambda, that is 2L. So f naught can be written as V upon 2 lambda. Now they are saying the pipe is partially submerged vertically into a liquid such that, okay, such that 2/3, they are saying such that 2/3 of the length is inside the liquid. So let's suppose this is the liquid. Let's suppose this is the liquid and we have submerged this organ pipe something like this, such that 2/3 is inside. If 2/3 is inside, that means this length will become L by 3, and over here we are going to have a node. So something like this will happen. Something like this will happen. What will be the fundamental new frequency of the air column? So mind you, this length will be lambda by 4 and lambda by 4 will be equals to L by 3, which means lambda will be 4L by 3. Lambda will be 4L by 3. Clear? Quickly write down in the chat box. Velocity will remain same because still this is air, right? So V equals to F naught dash, or let me write it as F dash into F into lambda. So lambda is 4L by 3. So F dash will be 3V by 4L. 3V by 4L. So I'm sorry. Yeah, and instead of okay, so instead of lambda, so you have to write down 2L over here. Right. So that means answer will be 3 by 2 of F naught. You guys can see, I can rewrite this thing as V divided by 2L. So this will become 3 F naught by 2. Is everything clear? Quickly write down in the chat box. Nice problem. Be quick. Any more doubts? Let me know. Then I'll move on to the next question. Done and dusted, my dear friends. Next is, an object in simple harmonic motion has total mechanical energy of 160 joules. What is the potential energy when the displacement of the displacement from the mean position is half the amplitude? Kindly see here. दोस्तों, total energy is written by half Ka square, and total mechanical energy is 160 joules, right? So potential energy will be half K into x square, and instead of x they are saying, let's write it as half of amplitude, so that means a square by 4. So that means 160 half Ka square is total energy, so this will become 40 joules. And if somebody wants to know, sir, what is going to be the kinetic energy at this point, so kindly note that kinetic energy will be total energy minus potential energy. So total energy is 160, potential energy is 40, so kinetic energy will be 120 joules, right? Hopefully this is all clear. A question from error. The density of a material in the shape of a cylinder is to be determined. The measured values are, this is mass, and cross sectional radius is that, and length is this, right? Everything's clear till here? We can move on, right? What is the maximum possible percentage error in the density measurement? My dear friends, density can be written as mass divided by volume. That is mass divided by, if you are talking about cylinder, pi r square into L, right? Pi r square into L. This basically means that if you want to find out percentage error in density, you can rewrite this thing as delta m by m plus 2 times of delta r by r plus delta L by L in percentage form. Clear? Right? And delta m is, now please see, these questions are very easy, and they are very also common in NEET exams. Delta m is 0.4. You don't have to worry about the unit in these types of problems, because anyway units are going to get cancelled out. I'm sorry, delta m is not 0.4, it is 0.004 divided by 0.4 plus 2 times of delta r. Delta r is 0.003. Again, you don't have to worry about the unit. 0.003 divided by 0.2 and plus delta L is 0.05 and divided by 5, and multiply all of these things with 100. Right? You can cancel out 1 point, and this thing can be written as 0.01. You can cancel out one of the point, this will be written as 0.03, this will be written as 0.01. If you will multiply 100, this will become 1%, plus this will become 3%, and that will become 1%. So finally your answer will be 5%. 5% is the correct answer. Clear? Quickly let me know in the chat box if you have any doubt. Be quick. Come on. Done? Can we move on to the next one, my dear friends? See, this problem is also nice. This question is also a nice one. Question says a block of copper with 200 gram mass. So mass is 200 gram. It is heated from 20 degree Celsius to 70 degree Celsius using a radiation of wavelength 3300 angstrom. Calculate the number of photons required to achieve this temperature change. To achieve this temperature change. They have also given you specific heat capacity. Clear? So using specific heat capacity, first of all, let's find out. Please understand the question what they are trying to say, right? We are using electromagnetic radiation. We are using the energy of photons to increase its temperature. So let's first find out the energy required. So delta Q will be, or simply Q will be ms delta T. Q will be ms delta T, right? Let's first find this out, then I'll explain everything. Mass is 200 gram and this is also in gram. So please note down the unit in which you are writing everything. So I am writing it in 200 gram because specific heat capacity is also in gram. And I'll finally get my answer in joule. So 0.5 joule per gram per degree Celsius, and delta T is 50. So my final answer is in SI unit. Kindly note my final answer is in SI unit. I have written mass in gram. Why? Because specific heat capacity was given in gram, right? So this point will get cancelled out. This will become 2. Finally, I'll get 400 joules. So that means total heat is 400 joules, and we are going to get this heat from photons. Energy of one photon is hc by lambda. So let's suppose we have got total n number of photons. So formula of n will be total energy, that is 400, multiplied by wavelength. Wavelength is 3300 angstrom, divided by h into c. Divided by h is 6.6 into 10 to the power minus 34, multiplied by c, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8. This is going to be your answer. Clear? Quickly write down in the chat box. Friends, be quick. Any more problem, any more doubt? Done? Now you guys can solve this question. And I think answer is A for this one. Let me check. Answer is 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 19. Done, right? Okay. Very good. Very, very, very good. Clear? No doubts? Question was also a decent problem, moderate level of question, right? Chalo, let's move on to the next one then. Then I think, dosto, we can also solve this question. A charged particle experiences an acceleration of a, that is 3 I cap minus 4 j cap meter per second square when it moves through a uniform magnetic field given by this. What must be the value of y? What must be the value of y? So friends, we know one thing, that magnetic force is actually perpendicular to velocity vector, and also it is perpendicular to magnetic field. We know this. So using this, we can also write down the acceleration produced by magnetic force will also be perpendicular to magnetic field. And if they are perpendicular, we can rewrite this thing as, if I am going to write A dot B, this will be also 0. So let's do this. A dot B is 12 and then minus 4y. There is no k cap, is equals to 0. So y will be equals to 3. Y will be equals to 3. Option C. Clear? Done? Come on. Done, done, done. Let's move to the next question if everything's sorted. Now my dear friends, let's solve this question. The current I in the circuit shown in figure. The current I in the circuit shown in figure. Answer seems to be 3E. What 3E, buddy? Which question you are talking about? Hopefully everything is clear till this point. Let's find out the answer for this question. You have to find out the current flowing in the circuit. Right? Find out the current flowing in the circuit. That we have also written 3, na? We have also written it as 3, right? Have I written it as 4E? Going back. By that time you guys solve this question. Acha, they are also talking, over here also they are talking about increase. My bad. Here also they are talking about increase in potential energy, right, my dear friends? So increase in potential energy, again they are talking about increase in potential energy. That means delta E. So 4E minus E, that is 3. Thank you so much. This is also increase, 3E, correct. This is also increase, 3E. Very good. Who has said this? Please write your name. And the next question was somewhere over here. Yes, this is the next question. Kindly see. This is what we call as bypassing, right? So these two wires are not touching each other. So if this is point A and I don't have any resistance or any electrical element between point A and D, this basically means that I can rename this point as A. I can rename this point as A, right? I can rename this point as A. Similarly, this point C can be written as B because there are no electrical instruments between point B and C, which means that 4 ohm is connected between A and B and 6 ohm is connected between A and B. So these are in parallel combination. So R equivalent will be 6 times 4 divided by 10. So this becomes 2, this becomes 5, that means 12 by 5 ohm. And current will be voltage divided by resistance. So this will be 5 ampere. This is going to be 5 ampere. Sorted? Clear? Let's solve some more questions, right? And then I'll give you some questions in homework also. A custom vernier caliper has a main scale with 1 millimeter division, divisions. Its vernier scale consists of 20 division, which perfectly aligns with 16 main scale division. All right. While measuring the thickness of a plate, the zero of the vernier scale falls between the 28th millimeter and 29th millimeter. All right. Clear. Great. So, my dear friends, please first of all understand that least count will be 1 main scale division minus 1 vernier scale division. So 1 main scale division minus, then they are saying that 16 main scale division coincides with 20, right? So 1 vernier scale division is going to be 16 divided by 20 main scale division. So this one is going to be 1 by 5 main scale division, that is 0.2 millimeter. 0.2 millimeter, right? Kindly please note that you don't usually see this type of problem where they actually ask to find out which vernier scale division exactly coincides with the main scale, right? They usually don't ask a question like this. So now we know that finally the main reading is 19.2 millimeter and there are no zero error. So 19.2 millimeter will be equals to, main scale reading, and main scale reading is between 28 and 29. So main scale will be 28 millimeter plus vernier scale reading multiplied by least count, that is 0.2 millimeter. So this will become if the finally thickness, this should be 29 here, this should be 29 my dear friends, है ना? This is not possible, this should be 29, this should be 29. So this is going to become 1.2 millimeter is equals to VSR times 0.2 millimeter. This will get cancelled out and 0 point will get cancelled out by this, and this will become 6. So vernier scale reading is 6th division. Option A. Option A. Clear? See, this question is slightly new. Slightly new, my dear friends. Usually you don't see problem like this. No, 8th is wrong here. Correct answer is 6th. Please note. Correct answer is 6th. Absolutely no doubt about it. You can see no doubt about it, my dear friends. That's absolutely correct. Everything's clear from the last one? Can we move on to the next question? Please see this problem, and I'm going to start poll for this one. Please start. A series combination consists of 10 identical cells. 10 identical cells, each having EMF E and internal resistance R. Okay. Each having EMF E and internal resistance R. However, two of these cells are connected with reversed polarity. That means these are wrongly connected. These are wrongly connected. Clear? If the terminals of this combination are short circuited, that means connected, what is the potential difference across any one of the correctly connected cells? Come on, be quick. Be quick, my dear friends. Good. So you have got 10 identical cells. We are not going to draw 10, but let's draw few. And then out of these, some of them are also wrongly connected, right? Some of them are wrongly connected. So E, we know that if two of them are wrongly connected, then net will become, so you have got a total of 10 and minus 4 E, that means a total of 6 E. See, two wrongly connected will also cancel out two correctly connected cells. Is it clear? So if let's suppose one of them is wrongly connected, then this will cancel out this one. So this is E, this is minus E, so this will cancel out this one. This is also wrongly connected, so this will cancel out this one. So total 4 got cancelled, 4 got removed. So remaining 6 will be there, so 6E, and there is no effect on R equivalent. So R equivalent remains same, that is 10R. So current will be, the net current will be net EMF divided by 10R. That means 3E by 5R. 3E by 5R. Now they are saying what happens if we are going to connect them, if we are going to short circuit them. So short circuiting them would mean something like this. So what is the potential difference between any one cell? So one cell is something like this. E, R, and let's suppose current is moving like this. So what is going to be the potential difference between these 2 points? So if you are going to move from this direction, let's say this is point P, this is point Q. So you are going to write Vp minus current 3E divided by 5R multiplied by R. So this R and this R get cancelled out, plus E is equals to VQ. So VQ minus Vp, yes, you can actually write down No problem. Let's solve this. So this is going to become E minus 3E by 5. So this is 5, this is 5. So you are going to get 2E by 5. So 2E by 5 is the correct answer. Option B. 2E by 5 is the correct answer. Clear, my dear friends? No matter how you want to write it down. So this is obviously at greater potential, this is at lower potential. Current flows in this direction from higher potential to lower potential, from outside in the external circuit. Clear? Everything is sorted. This is also a decent question, not difficult, not very easy, a moderate level of problem. Quickly let me know in the chat box if everything's clear. Please pay attention. Can we move on to the next one? Let's solve a question from modern physics, right? Although we have solved some problems, that number of photons and many more questions, and let's solve this question also. Very good. Light of wavelength lambda ejects photoelectrons from a metal surface with a stopping potential of V. With a stopping potential of V. When the incident wavelength is changed to 1.5 lambda. So if the wavelength is increased, stopping potential will definitely decrease. So it decreases to V by 2. You have to find out the threshold wavelength. So I am going to help you in the equation, you find out the answer, right? So the first equation will be, first the wavelength was lambda. So Hc by lambda is equals to Hc by lambda naught plus stopping potential, and stopping potential is V. Right? We don't want to find out the value of V, right? We want to find out the value of lambda naught. Next is, if you are going to change the wavelength as 1.5, that means now this becomes Hc 3 lambda by 2 is equals to Hc by lambda naught and plus V by 2. Clear? This becomes V by 2. So what I'll suggest you to do is, instead of V, you can substitute Hc by lambda minus Hc by lambda naught and substitute it over here, and you will get your answer in terms of lambda. Be quick. Let me know in the chat box if you have any doubt. Correct answer will be 3. Correct answer will be 3. Lambda naught will be equals to 3 times of lambda if you are going to solve this. Please note. Any doubt? You can solve this question very easily. Sorted, my dear friends. Done? Moving on to the next one, a thin uniform wire with the total resistance of 18 ohm is fashioned into a circular loop. Alright, so we have got a circular loop like this, and then it is connected across 2 terminals on the loop, fine, such that it subtend at an angle of 120 degree at the center. So something like this. So it subtend an angle of 120 degree at the center. Something like this. So this angle is 120 degree. So if this angle is 120 degree, this angle is going to be 240 degree. If this resistance is, let's say, R1, this resistance will be R2. And we know that resistance is directly dependent on length, and length is directly dependent on, arc length is directly dependent on theta. So R1 will be 2 times of R2. That means also R1 plus 2 times of, R1 plus R2 is also equals to 18. So R1 can be written as 2 times of R2. So this is 3 times of R2 is equals to 18. So this becomes 6. I am so sorry. This will become 12. and this will become 6, right? I mean to say R2 will become 2 times of R1. Clear? And that means finally R equivalent will be 6 into 12 divided by 18. So 3 and 4. So finally the answer will be 4 ohm. Sorted? Quickly let me know in the chat box. Done? Done? Everything's clear? Be quick. Any more doubt? Any more doubt, my dear friends? Can we move on to the next question? Crystal clear? Everything is sorted. Very good. I think we have done this question in the last class. I think we have done this question, hai na? Let's not repeat it all over again. In the last class of 500 MCQ, we have done this question in the combined class. But if you have any doubt, let me just write it down for you that force can be written as minus du by dx, fx can be written as minus du by dx, and fy can be written as minus du by dy, partial differentiating it, right? So we have done this problem. Clear? And what about this one? For the wave shown in figure, write the equation of this wave. Its profile is captured at t equals to 0. That means we have got a snapshot of this, right? We have got a snapshot of this. All right. So in this question, wave is moving towards positive x-axis. So positive x-axis, so this will be wrong. This can be correct, this will be wrong, right? Positive x-axis. And then this looks like a sine. So this is also wrong. So correct answer is B. Why? Because obviously the function is a sine, the graph is of sine, and it is moving towards positive x-axis. It is moving towards positive x-axis. Is it clear? Be quick. One question from capacitance, right? One plate of an initially uncharged parallel plate capacitor of plate area A, capital A, and plate separation D. And plate separation D is connected to the positive terminal of a battery of the voltage V. The negative terminal of the battery and the other plate of the capacitor are earthed as shown in the figure. Okay, fine. The charge that flows from the battery, to the capacitor plates is, please see, when you are going to do something like this, this basically means that you are connecting these 2 points and you have got potential V. So capacitance, we can write it as epsilon naught A by D. So charge will be Q will be C times V. So C is epsilon naught A by D times V. That's it, I think. Nothing else. Epsilon naught A V by D. Nothing much. Right? Nothing much. My dear friends, I have got one interesting problem for you, which is from logic gate. Let's look at this question. Let's look at this question, my dear friends. This is a very, very nice problem. Usually you have seen questions from this topic. Usually you have seen easier problem from this topic, right? This is slightly different. Try to do it. Come on. Try to do this problem. Question is to get output 1 at R for the given logic gate circuit, the input values must be. This is the question. You have to find out the input values, right? And please note that we have got, let me explain this question. We have got a NOT gate over here. So if this is X, the input in this OR gate will be X bar. Then you have got X and X over here. And this is Y. So this is Y. And then this is Y and this is Y bar. Hopefully, my dear friend, this is absolutely clear to you, right? Friends, X bar and Y, and this is an OR gate. So this will become X bar plus Y. And this will become X into Y bar and a bar over there, because you have got an AND gate. AND basically means multiply, and then you have got an inverter bubble. Is everything clear? Quickly write down in the chat box. This is a nice problem. My dear friends, in this type of problem, what you do is you break the line and you change the sign. So you are going to break the line. So this will become X bar plus Y bar and bar. So finally this will become X bar plus Y. So finally on this Q, the Q will be actually equals to X bar plus Y. Similarly as this one. Really nice, right? So that means R, finally your R will become, this is a NOR gate again. So this will become X plus Y plus X plus Y and a bar on it. By the way, there is no sense of writing this again and again. See what property I am going to use. A plus A can be simply written as A. So this thing can be simply written as X bar plus Y. Now they want us to, they are saying that to get output as 1. So if this is 1, this means that this should be equals to 0. X bar plus Y should be equals to 0. Now to have this as 0, now let's check. If X is 0, then this will become 1. And if Y is 1, so this will become 1. So this is not correct. If X is 1, then this will become 0. X bar will become 0. And if Y is 1, then this will become 1. So this is not correct. If X is 1, so X bar will become 0, and if Y is 0, then this will become 0. So this is the correct answer. If X is 0, this will be also not correct, because if X is 0, X bar will become 1. So C is the correct answer. Really nice question. Is it clear, my dear friends? See, I have also explained the de Broglie theorem that I have used. Everything sorted? Quickly write down in the chat box. Be quick. From units and dimension till logic gates, I have tried my best to cover most of the topics, right? And this is a very nice problem. Any more doubts? Now you are going to get this PDF. Now you are going to get this PDF on PW NEET WhatsApp channel, PW NEET English WhatsApp channel, and you are going to get more such questions for your practice. Alright, for your practice, kindly solve them. Various problems, right? So in that way we can complete these. If you are going to complete these 100 questions, out of these 100, I think almost 50% we have solved it in the class, right? Now complete this PDF. This will be more than sufficient. I am talking about the level of the questions. This level is more than sufficient for you. Now what you need to do is you need to solve some more mock exams if your syllabus is completed. If your syllabus is not completed, then let me tell you, I have completed till rotational motion. In my next class, I'm going to start class 12th, right? And then we are going to discuss KTG and thermodynamics part after that. Clear? So that will be all for today. Complete these questions. See, I've got various questions of different type over here, right? These are going to be sufficient for your practice. Kindly do them, do these, and then we'll meet in the next class, my dear friends. All right, clear? Done? Okay then. See you, my dear friends. Probably the next class will be on Sunday. ठीक है? Bye bye. Bye everyone. Bye 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 bye.